This video is going to be an explanation of the tab system, or tablature, to give it its full name. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because those of you that follow my channel will know that along with posting the notation for many of my videos, I also try my very best to include a version of the tab as well. So there are two versions that you could print out if you wanted to, or download and store. So there's a notation which is the musical notation form with notes and things that you would normally see on a stave, and there is also a version with tablature added below the stave, so you can see, if you're not familiar with reading music, you can see where you should put your fingers on the violin fingerboard. Now, the thing about this at the moment, I should really turn this violin over to explain this next bit, because that's the thick string, the G string, that's the D string, that's the A string, and that's the E string. Now, so far so good. So what you're seeing there is exactly what you see in tablature notation. You see 4 lines. Bottom line is G, next line is D, next line is A, next line is E. So it represents each of those 4 strings. So it's quite straightforward to follow, particularly when you're first learning maybe to read musical notation, and you're finding it perhaps you need another reference point. This is where tab can be useful, because it can give you another reference point. So the whole thing about tab is it tells you where to place your fingers. Now, if you imagine, if I were going to play, say, the note A, on tab, that would appear on the line which represents the A string, the second one down from the top, as a 0, because there's nothing, you're not holding a finger down on it. However, if you play the very first note on the A string, which in fact is not A sharp, it's generally called B flat, which I'll play in a moment, that would be shown on tab as the number 1 on the A string. So let's have a look. I'm going to have to turn the fiddle over now, the violin, and stick this thing under my chin, grab a bow, which is there, and just try and perhaps talk you through this. I'll start on the open note of A. In tab, that would be represented on the A string as a 0, because it's an open note. Then there are actually 7 notes, including the open note. I'll play them for you. And then of course we go on to the E string. But the 7 notes on the A string are A open, and then A1, which is a B flat, A2, which is a B, A3, which is C natural, A4, which is C sharp, A5, which is D, and then A6, which is D sharp, or E flat as it's more commonly known. And then of course you would go on to the E string. Or if you were going to play a 7, you would play that with your little finger, your pinky. So there are actually 7 notes before you go on to the next string. Same with the D string. So the idea basically is, with the numbering system on the tab scheme, is if you look at the string, the line represents the string that you're going to be playing on, and then the number represents where your finger should go. So if I play something like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the first part of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, it would look like this in tab. I hope that explains how the tab system works.